Hey guys, welcome back to the Bog Kitchen. So today we're going to be doing lacto fermentation. I want to introduce you to that, explain the process, and then we are going to actually lacto ferment jalapenos. We got a big jalapeno harvest out of these two plants. We got to get them into something so they don't start going bad on us. So the whole idea of lacto fermentation is you're going to be putting a vegetable into a salt brine and allowing it to ferment over time. So the only things that you're going to need for this process are really going to be water, salt, and your vegetable. Now there are some things that make it a lot easier, like putting it into a mason jar, and then I like doing a few extra things, and I have a glass weight that I put on top to hold everything underwater so it stays submerged in that salt brine. And then this is I call it a burping nipple. It is silverware. It's silicone based. It allows it to burp when during the fermenting process, when it builds up air and builds up carbon dioxide. So the whole process, getting attacked by bees, the whole process is you're going to take your vegetable and you're going to put it into a salt brine, and that salt brine is going to end up killing off all of the bad bacteria and allowing the good bacteria that survives in this brine to start to ferment the food. Then it'll start releasing carbon dioxide, and then you're going to be pickling. It's going to create a pickling process. That bacteria is called a Lactobacillus, and you don't want to add too much salt because it will allow nothing to survive in it. It'll kill everything off. I like about 2.5%, and that process is real simple. What you do is you take all of your vegetables and you place it into a container, or excuse me, we'll back up. You take your container and use a scale, and I zero the container out on the scale, and then I add my vegetables, and then from there I add all of my water, and you add that together. You add your water plus your vegetables, and you get your total weight of what's inside of your jar. Then you're going to multiply that times your percentage. So I like 2.5%, so you're going to multiply it times 0.025, and that's going to give you a number at the bottom, which is going to give you your grams of salt that you're going to be adding to it. Now I'll put the equation right here, but what we're going to do from there is you're going to take that water, you're going to pour it back into a bowl or another container, weigh out your salt, add that to your water, stir it so it ends up dissolving the best that you can, and then adding it back to your jar. Once you do that, you put your nipple right or your silicone burping implement on top with the ring, or excuse me, the weight, and everything in there, so you fill it all up so it holds everything submerged into the brine. Once that's all done, then you're just going to let it sit. Then all you have is time. Then that's when that fermentation process starts. That's where you're going to be adding that's when the salt is going to be killing off all the bad bacteria, and that Lactobacillus is going to start fermenting everything. Now, one of the things I would absolutely recommend is you're going to put something underneath that jar. Once you have it on something, sometimes what ends up happening, this happens a lot when I start doing sauerkraut, which will be a future video. It'll actually start to bubble up. As it burps out, there will be a release of gas and sometimes fluid. When that fluid comes out, it'll spill over. So you want something to sit on so it doesn't spill out all over the counter. And my warning to you is one that it does start to smell really quickly. So it's got to be kept in a dark place. I keep it on my counter, and I throw like a tea towel or a kitchen cloth over the top of it to make sure that it doesn't get any direct sunlight and kind of captures anything that spills out. So the towels end up getting pretty dirty. So overall, that's really all we have to do. It's really simple. It's a simple way to preserve, and it keeps. That's the best part of it all. Is it as long as it stays submerged, it keeps in that salt brine. But you do have to refrigerate it almost immediately. If you do not refrigerate it, it will continue to ferment, probably past the edible stage. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pick up the jalapenos. We're going to get that all set up, and we're going to put it on the counter. Once it's all done, I say probably about 4 days. Then we're going to give them a taste and see if they're ready, and then put them into the refrigerator. Now, there is a warning that sometimes if you don't add enough salt, you will get some sort of fungus or like a hairy mold on top. I haven't experienced that yet, but if it were me, I would personally probably just start over at that point. I don't really want to risk anything, especially when it comes to the fermentation process and whatever I give my family. So that's about it. It's a real quick process, so let's get started. All right, so it's been 4 days. This looks right. It's nice and hazy. Let's get the glass weight out. Let's give them a try. All right. They are pickled. To quote a Cajun chef, Justin Wilson, whoo-wee! They got some spice to them. They're really good. They are fermented just a little bit. They probably could sit for a couple more days. They're not all the way there, but that's really it for the process. Now, this isn't the end. We're going to be doing some other stuff in the future. We're going to be fermenting a lot more things using this lacto fermentation. So stay tuned for the next videos coming up regarding this. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.